Hey, the one. I don't know who's going to show up on Sunday, but I'm just sitting here, and I figured I'd go live. I'm going to be traveling tomorrow, so I thought I would. Let me move over closer to the microphone. I thought I'd come live, just talk about things. Hey, Jennifer. The 3 or 4 things I wanted to talk about, but I'm open to talking about anything. One, I listened to the interview which Danny Neal did with Anna, and I thought it was exceptional. I understand there's some blowback on the Twitter from the Twitterati, but we can talk about her interview. But I was really impressed with it, extremely impressed with it, and I think in general that Wall Street has groomed 1 or 2 generations of investors and CEOs in order to slaughter them. And so if she ruffled some feathers by challenging the inactivity of some congressional offices, good on her. The thing that stood out to me the most, he said, why do we need a hearing unless we have evidence? Are you going to subpoena? I thought it was great. Anyway, that's one thing. Secondly, I'm going to be going to Houston tomorrow, and I'm going to be meeting with a lot of oil and gas and mining men. I assume there'll be a woman or 2, but it's mostly men. And when it's a bear market, it's mostly men. When it gets hot and going and fun, women will show up. But anyway, it's just how it is. But anyway, I'll be down there, and I'm hoping to get information both on one HNRC and more importantly on Ora Grande. We'll see. We'll see. And if I get information, I may or may not be able to talk about it. Who knows? But I assume I will be. The other thing I wanted to talk about was CAUD, collective audience. And then in general, I wanted to just maybe, since I will be on a plane tomorrow, talk about ZJYL, GDC, Finger, those kind of trades. And I do think there's a potential for a breakthrough in negotiations with GTII. So that could all be good too. Anyway, those are my ideas for going live. I can see what you're thinking about. And the other thing, somebody told me that they saw on Twitter that I had lost my cool. I had melted down. Well, some of you have seen me in action, and I believe it. Maybe I did melt down, but I don't know that I become a basket case or anything. I get upset maybe, but I also don't think I get upset from. I don't know. I don't watch myself, but I don't think I get upset from a defensive standpoint. It's more from frustration and some anger shows through. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but my point is I'll try to do better and not melt down. After all, I'm not a nuclear reactor. I'm not a nuclear reactor. All right, let's see what anybody's asking me. Let me get my whiteboard. Hey, lucky boy. Everyone says hi to you. They do. They do. I know. He's so old. Anna said on her interview, which I'm sure Jennifer knows, but there were 56,490 complaints filed on MMTLP, and the SEC looked at 35 of them. That, my friends, is a broken government. It's a broken regulatory system, and it's a broken financial system. And those are kind words for it. All right, I'm going to erase all that and we'll get started. Sorry, that's on Sunday I listen to WPFW and they're talking now. Normally it's music, but that'll change in a second. Love Anna. Yeah, Jennifer, I think people are jumping on her a bit, and I don't know that that's fair. But we all have our points of view. Happy Sunday, Frank. Yeah. Before I hear anything, because I'm hoping to have a phone call later this afternoon. I think on Finger, things could start looking really good for Finger maybe next week, but my sense is it'll be 2 to 3 weeks. So not this week, second week, third week sort of time frame. And I don't have anything firm, just whispers, and then on ZJYL and GDC, I expect both of those maybe to move together. But I think it'll be ZJYL first. And I don't really think I'll miss anything tomorrow on Monday, but I'll be flying back, I think, Tuesday, maybe Wednesday. And maybe Sparks will fly in the middle of the week. Who knows? I might be jumping the gun on that one. And then what's the other one to talk about? Well, I said GDC. I'm watching, oddly enough, I'm watching RCRT. I don't know if anything will happen, but based on the Twitter feed from Chris Lacoisier of 4 days ago, I'm watching it. And then on the negative side, well, I'll go with the positives. And I didn't print it out simply because my printer is out of juice. On Thursday, late, and then Friday, CAUD announced that they're acquiring or JVing first BOP out of France. And with that, the stock took off. It went to almost 180. And I'm looking at the chart right now. And I have to say, the chart looks pretty good to me. It's breaking out of the 20-day moving average and the 50-day with the 200-day way up there. But it looks good. It looks good. However, the volume was high. As soon as it got up to those high levels, somebody sold a ton of stock. And there's a ongoing debate that's algorithmic trading and that's all covered intraday. I don't buy it. I think, and unfortunately, in Gary Gensler's markets, there is not transparency. The bad guys have access to information we don't. One thing the goober could do is give us all access to the same information. But anyway, I think it's selling stock that doesn't exist. You've heard the story before. So I think CAUD is at an inflection point. I've done what I can to get across a message of look out. And let me just find the S1, which was sent to me. And it came, I guess, from the S1 amendment, which was filed March 1st. And this is for CAUD. It said, as of December 31, 2023, we had $614,000 in cash and a working capital deficit of $1,900,000. We expect that we will need additional capitals to satisfy our liquidity needs. As such, DLQ parent, the company, and the sponsor have agreed that the sponsor shall be the exclusive financing source of capital for up to $30 million and will use commercially reasonable efforts to enter into a mutually acceptable agreement for that purpose. This is CAUD. Currently, while still undetermined and subject to further negotiation and change, so I tried to reach out based on that uncertainty. The expected terms of an equity investment outlined in such an agreement would include a 5% discount to the average three lowest VWAP, that's volume weighted average price, for the 20 days immediately preceding a funding. I assume it means 20 trading days, but that's not clear. But so a month of trading. The three lowest volume weighted average prices for a month of trading. Immediately preceding such a funding, but limited to $1 million per month and no more than 500,000 in any 14-day period. Okay. So they have these governors in there to make it seem reasonable. But what the company does, what a company will do, is not CAUD. I'm talking about a sponsor or their client, a hedge fund, or a rogue LLC. They will sell stock they don't own and then wait the 20 days. And this is the simplest example. They could also never cover, but they'll sell, let's say, it says here $1 million a month, but there's no restriction here on how much they can sell a month. The company will accept $1 million worth a month. So the problem is, what do we call these guys? Here it's called the sponsor, but it could be the sponsor's clients. It could be some derivative of the sponsor's clients. I'll call them the I don't know what to call them, the hedge funds. The hedge funds will start selling the stock they don't own. In this case, at $1.80, $1.70, $1.60, $1.40, $1.20. Now there's an argument, oh, that's just algorithmic trading. Now, well, okay. I don't dismiss it. That's an argument. And I'm sure algorithms are used. But a hedge fund on Friday possibly could have sold 1 million shares. The volume was 2.5 million, I think. A hedge fund conceivably could have sold 1 million shares for an average price of $1.25. Well, now their job for the next 20 days, or they can be satisfied with where they are. Maybe they just do it for 5 days or for 10 days. But their job now is to drive that price lower. So let's assume get it to 75 cents for 3 low days. They wire the money into CAUD at a 5% discount of the lowest 3 days. So they're able to go to CAUD, buy the stock at 71 cents, which the majority of which they sold at $1.25. Obviously, they had to sell more as it came down, but that's always at a higher price, guaranteed, because all they have to do is get it to 3 low numbers, and they get a discount off of that. So this is a mechanism by which hedge funds, pools of money, can make a minimum of 5% a month on their money. And if you take 5%, let's call it 3.5%. Say they screw up some of the trades. They make a net of 3.5% every month for 12 months. They're getting a return of 40% for their portfolio. And that's what's going to happen to CAUD. It's possible that they have so many deals lined up that the cash flows and the profits ramp up so quickly that this selling will be done on an ever increasing share price. But the fact remains that all the selling hedge fund has to do is, let's say it's, to me, it's obvious it's trading days, even though they don't say trading days, because there's no VWAP on a weekend, if you know what I mean. So all they have to do, if they're going to do this each month, is sell 1/20th of their position each day and try to maintain the price level except for 3 lower days. Now, it sounds like they're taking some risk, but they're really not, because there's going to be no buying, and they can keep the pressure on. There might be some buying. I shouldn't jump to that conclusion, but they can keep the pressure on with their sales, because this agreement doesn't say they have to limit themselves to $1 million as sales. It just says the company will accept. That's an annoying song. Will limit funding to $1 million a month. Now, the stock right now is trading at $1, $1.09 or something. How long do you think before that's a 50-cent stock? In other words, this month, maybe it's only 1 million shares. Next month, it might be 2 million shares. The following month, it could be 4 million shares. That is an annoying song, and I can't turn it off. In addition to this, any shares that are issued will be registered so they can trade right away. They can settle up their trade right away. And if they could have up to 2 warrants attached for each share at the then market price. Absent the aforementioned 30 million from the sponsor, the company could otherwise be undercapitalized and obliged to seek financing from alternative sources. Please find it from alternative sources. which may or may not be able to obtain. And certain insiders will loan funds. So that probably bored most of you, but I own CAUD. I think some of you own CAUD. If this goes through, I hate to have to tell you, the Logic investment is a total bust, because if this goes through, CAUD is headed to 10 cents a share or lower. And it breaks my heart. I will assure you that over the last couple, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, I don't know the exact time frame, I have reached out and done my best, but I'm not listened to get this risk across. I also offered to CAUD, if they disavowed themselves of Aubrey Advisors and any of this coterie of criminal. Well, I don't know if they're all criminals, but someone in there is rotten. But if they could just say, we'll never turn to them. I said, you guys could come to my audience. You could come to, I have other investors. We could raise this as a plain vanilla raise. That was my solution. Plain vanilla raise with plain people. And I think CAUD is a brilliant investment. Their target is amazing. And it's AI, it's advertising. It is such an incredible upside. But if they do this financing out of loyalty, misplaced loyalty, the company will be MMAT, it'll be MULN, it'll be RUM, it'll be ROOT, it'll be any number. You can fill in the blank of companies who have a great story, but the mortgage is bad. It's not the house, it's the mortgage. Anyway, I'll get off of CAUD. So I have to issue a caution. If this goes through, and it's not finalized, but if it goes through, I can't give you financial advice. As much as I love the team, love the concept, and am in absolute state of excitement about the mergers they have lined up, I have to caution that this financing will destroy the per share value of anything good. So if your shares become liquid, you have to look at it and say, on a rally, I'm getting out, or I'm just getting out once they're liquid, if this goes through. And it hasn't yet, but so I'm giving a caution out there. And I hate to tell you it. I hate it. I own CAUD. I hate it. Okay, now Logic, I think you could see news on Logic Shell this week or next week. Let's call it this month. Stating that there has indeed been a reverse merger agreed. And the numbers I hear are anywhere from 40 to 50 to 60 cents a share in value. If that's true, I think you'll have a chance to have a successful trade in Logic here in the near term. But this CAUD doesn't, unfortunately, it's too bad. CRTD, let me look at the chart. As far as I know, all my computers are slow. Yeah, we'll just have to wait. All right, there we go. I like the chart on CRTD. I still love you so. It's not without risk, of course, but that's a little bit of a pennant. It broke out. It's back here testing it. And, maybe it can go to 13, maybe it can go to $20. It's not a bad chart, Max. And I guess what he's been doing is paying off debt and moving toward profitability. Cash flow and profitability is the medicine that will keep the bad guys away. Mina Nashid says Ham talks badly about the stock and warns. Well, I don't know if it was out of nowhere, but Barry, and I don't think it's targeted at Aubrey or the company per se. Ham is a broken record when he sees these kind of financing deals. He just says, look, good luck. I hope it works, and moves on. As you know, Barry's bit, he spoke with Rum. He spoke with, anyway, it's a whole number of companies. It's not worth going through the list. And most companies don't listen. Most boards don't listen. The lawyers are quite, they're high-powered Wall Street lawyers. They don't know what they're talking about, but they come in and assure the CEO, if you do it, you're not going to be sued, and you're doing your duty. The purveyors of these financings are slick, and they have attorneys that say, hey, you're doing nothing wrong. But the net effect is destruction of share prices. Some music is so bad. Look at Bet's book value. I don't know Bet's book value. Bet's? Is it just BETS? Big Brother Limited? That's another stock chart that's intriguing. Let me look at the Bet's book value. Let's write a song where we just say, put it back. Put it back. Put it back. Put it back. All right, let me see what it says here. Statistics. Book value. I don't see a very high book value. Let me look. I got to find it. Oh, wow. That's weird. Up here, it's got book value at a minuscule level. Maybe I'm just misreading the fraction. But down here, the book value is, what's MRQ? MRQ, most recent quarter, $2,390 a share for bets. It's very interesting. 210 million shares outstanding, float of 192. Insiders don't hold very much. Institutions don't hold very much. 52-week high, 1,620. So I would wonder what that book value is comprised of, if it's got any goodwill on there, for example, because that's way out of whack, isn't it? And how difficult is it to realize that book value? It's an interesting one, Southern Comfort. Oh, it's Bitcoin mining. Summary. It received notice of delisting. They priced 12 million, registered direct offering 2 months ago. Warrants and warrants. They sold 185 million shares. Warrants for 185 million, and a further set of warrants for 185 million. The stock's not going up. Stock's not going up. Maxim Group is the LLC. It's not going up. It's destroyed. It's destroyed. It's destroyed. Now the music's speeding up. Please come to Lakeland. She just said no. I'm going to be, I'll tell you where, I don't know where Lakeland is, although I believe I've been there. I'll tell you where I'm going to be. Oh, what a horrible song. So I guess I am going to be downtown. I'm going to be off of Lamar Street. How about if I do that? Lakeland to, and I'm so glad that song ended. Yeah, I'm seeing that Lakeland's in Florida. That's a long way away. Hey, Rom. Hey, Rick. Maybe a whiteboard in the backdrop. Charlie Mack, that's a good idea. I went to Savannah, Georgia with a friend of mine from London, but she's from Spain. And we went to this bar. She's not a drinker, but I had some beer. But it's this old bar off the harbor. It's like built into the wall of the harbor. And it was a great place. And there's this big guy sitting behind a computer, and he could play a bunch of instruments. And he took what do you call it? Um, Requests. He took requests. But on the board behind him, he had three songs. I only remember two of them. And he said, everybody requests the same songs. So if you request one of these three songs, you got to pay me. The top one was uh, Brown Eyed Girl for $25. The second one was Turn the Page by Bob Seger for $20. And I can't remember the other one, but you get the idea. What was amazing, we sat there for 2 or 3 hours. We had something to eat, and it was enjoyable. Uh, you can't imagine how many people would come up and say, "Turn the page, Brown Eyed Girl." There's another song everyone asks for. So I like your idea. It's a good idea. SOL? No, but let's see if it's a stock. I can look now. If it's being out of luck, I can't do much. Emeran Group. Uh, on Yahoo, 50. It's got a decent. It's got a tight 52-week range. It's got a huge market cap. What does it do? Emeran Group. Massive float, 357 million shares. Institutions own 45%. Negative cash flow. Really negative levered free cash flow. Book value is $6. The new music comes to us there from pianist Lynn Ariel. Lynn Ariel and the Lynn Ariel Trio. Stock repurchase program. Solar portfolio in Hungary. And before that, we heard Mike Liddell from his latest recording. Mike Liddell. They acquired a storage portfolio in China. Now we have to hear about women's rights or something like that. 1 gigawatt of battery energy stored portfolio in Italy. I like Michael. I like it. I like what they stand for, but that's a massive float. Let's see who the holders are. The top holders are Legal and General Group PLC. So they paid for their lawyer. Invesco, that's not bad. Invesco owns 6%. Monaco Asset Management. I don't think that's bad. Millennium Management. Citadel Advisors owns 1.5%. Jane Street Group. Top mutual fund holders: Invesco, Next Point Climate Tech Fund. Just tuned in. We're listening to pianist, composer, band leader, Lynn Ariel. I don't know, Michael. You might have a good stock there for a long-term hold. And there will be an opportunity to hear this very music as part of Lynn Ariel. I didn't see GE is offering a dividend. Let me see what's happening to GE. Wow, Jennifer, that is a powerful stock chart. Okay, so give us that date again and the set times. That looks just like all the tech stocks. I mean, it's ahead of itself. If there's a correction, it'll come down 20 points. But that is a nice looking chart for GE. Let me see what the news is. I guess this is the artist she's talking. GE Aerospace is to become an independent company. So they're spinning off GE Vernova and GE Aerospace. Board approval sets up GE to become a standalone aerospace company. I guess we're going to war. Barron's says buy GE stock. The company's breakup is almost here. I won't. It'll be a paywall. General Electric is nearing the end of its 5-year journey back from the brink. For investors, a looming corporate breakup is only the beginning. The future looked bleak for GE in October of 2018. John Flannery had just been removed as CEO. Profitability was declining. GE Capital was losing money. The acquisition of Alstom's power business had proven disastrous, and investors were forced to sift through dozens of pages of disclosure. Worse still, its massive debt load, some 112 billion, was growing unwieldy. By the end of the year, GE stock had fallen 80% from its 2000 peak and was trading for less than it had during the depths of the financial crisis. That's all I can read. I don't subscribe to Barron's. Yahoo Finance says, Jennifer, GE is up 114% over the last 5 years. Absolutely. Well, Linda Ariel, thank you for calling in. And again, you'll be performing at Blues Out. But this could be related to the strong market. In celebration of this brand new recording called Being Human on the Challenge Label. In his essay, The Super Investors of Graham and Doddsville, Warren Buffett described how share prices do not always rationally reflect the value of a business. By comparing earnings per share and share prices over time, we can get a feel for how investor attitudes to a company have changed. During the 5 years of share price growth, General Electric moved from a loss to profitability. Sometimes the start of profitability is a major inflection point, which can signal fast earning growth to come, which in turn justifies very strong share price gains. Since the company was unprofitable 5 years ago, but not 3 years ago, it's worth taking a look at the returns in the last 3 years too. Indeed, the General Electric share price has gained 45% in 3 years. In the same period, earnings per share were up 14% a year. What about dividends? I don't know. It fades away. LQR. I'm not in it. Very funny. Wherever is your partner in crime? A peekaboo accident. The ICU. Very funny. There's a rodeo in Houston. I'm going to be landing, and unless I can get appointments on Tuesday, I'm going to be turning around and flying back. And I ain't going to no rodeo. You say you're a cowboy's son. Where's your boots and where's your gun? We laughed at that. And I told her I had guns no one could see. We laughed at that. and both agreed. All right. Hey, Eddie Eagle. Yeah, I think, Aaron, next week is a big week for GDC and for ZJYL. One will go first, the other will follow, or vice versa. Pepe. Thank you, Miles. Pepe. Hey, the one. Um, no, the shorting is protected, Aaron, by the financing. If I recall it, I just read it. They sold 185 million shares, but then they have warrants twice for 85 million shares. That stock's not going up. It's not going up. Woo! Stock's not going up. And who are you going to believe? Me or your lying eyes? EQX? I'm not, with a name like yours, I'm not going to ask what big is coming. EQX. Let me look up EQX. Oh, it's Gold Company. So I'm going to like that automatically. Lucas Zeta on the drums. From Lynn Ariel's brand new recording, it's the Lynn Ariel Trio, Being Human, the title of the album. We heard Lynn Ariel original. Wow, 1.5 billion market cap. A few moments ago, she was telling us all about her gig coming up at Blues Alley. Blues Alley, a gig at Blues Alley. On Wednesday, March 6th. All right, Equinox Gold. They have 6 analysts. That's pretty good. Just about 26 minutes after the hour, you're tuned to the segment of the open. Average price target is $5. The new release hour. We just heard RBC downgraded it to underperform. I don't know why. Tenor saxophone, Mr. Charles Lloyd. Charles Lloyd has a brand new recording that is a 2 CD set on the Bruno label. Does have a profit margin, does have revenue, $1 billion in revenue. Stop talking, just play music. Shares outstanding 323 million. They have cash on their balance sheet. They have operating cash flow that's significant. Held by institutions, 56%. I like it. I like EQX. Yeah, I am trying to get my shares transferred from E-Trade, and I've been working on it for 3 or 4 weeks. It's $60, but I got the strangest feedback on Friday. The guy said he had to read to me a update from 2009 that E-Trade would no longer be shipping physical certificates. They would be putting DRS, direct registered securities, at the transfer agent. And I said, really? You can do that? That's different than what you did last time, but sure. I mean, okay. But then I checked with a couple of people, and apparently NextBridge isn't eligible for DRS. So I have a feeling that I'm not going to get my E-Trade shares, but I'm going to call them again from the airport tomorrow. Wow, they're doing it in 3 to 5 days from Fidelity. That's great, the one. That's great. I don't understand the question. Why are they saying it's next week? Or why are they saying that Ham said it? I don't know. That's my I mean, I'm sure it's just me being a dunce. But yeah, he is saying that they should move quickly. So I mean, in a short period of time. We'll find out. Luckily, I don't think it matters one way or other whether we buy those or sell those. We're so puny in the grand scheme of things compared to the whales and the apparently massive short positions. I think it's great you guys are getting your shares delivered because um, my gut instinct is that Greg McCabe will initiate discussions, at least uh, what would you call it, a prologue to settlement discussions. Once they have the hard facts, hey, our coffers are full, and there's still 250 million shares sitting out there. Once they have those facts, I think he'll move quickly to this is why my sister hates jazz. And I like jazz, but my problem is I don't like some of it. And I'm finding this particular, it's all right. It's all right. It's just not my favorite. Um, what's the deal with GTII? I think, um, there's been a struggle for the direction of the company. And I think that's coming to an end. And I think there's also positives on the Trento mine, progress on the Trento mine. That's what I think. I don't know. It's just how it's whispers. It's whispers. I think it's all good. I think it's good. Passionate about how crooked the market is. Yeah, I want a crooked market. Don't go changing to try and please me. I like you just the way you are. Yeah, crooked market. Oh, Lavana. That's what Ham teaches you for sure. The psychology of traders. I think maybe I teach you some of that, but Ham, I'm telling you, that guy is giving information and he does it quickly and it seems so easy once you hear it, maybe. But that is so valuable. If I had had that when I was a wealth advisor, I could have kicked butt. Hey, D. Quattro. Hey, Charlie. All right. I'm looking forward to it. I like Texas. Everything is big in Texas. Everybody's big in Texas. The women are all tall and beautiful. You know how when you go to a new place, the women are always beautiful? for some reason. I think this jazz player needs to take some sort of course of drugs. Yeah, maybe. Hey, Jennifer, Marin, everything's good. Ah, I got back to the beginning. I was at a dinner last night. Two Ukrainians. Um, I think that was her second marriage, his first, I think. But I learned a lot. It was really interesting. GE used to own a brokerage firm, if I'm not mistaken. I think they owned Kidder Peabody. I could be wrong. I think there was a time when GE owned a brokerage firm, long time ago. Once we have a win, I think what'll happen is um, if I have a good computer, I'll be sitting here and people will be joining in all the corners talking, and we'll be following the stock price, and could be interesting. But I need a better computer, which is one of my goals, has been. But um, I don't know what'll happen. I think a lot of other people will get viewers when one of the stocks win, because there's a lot of people out there ready to take credit for the trades, which is fine with me. I mean, I'm not trying to say that I'm any bloody genius. It's just it was Kidder. Yeah, see, a lot of useless information. Find the one you like and leave us alone. Um, I think I like contemporary. I don't think I like fusion, but I don't know, Lance. I don't know. Um, and it's also depends on your mood, doesn't it? Um, this channel, this station used to play this kind of music all week. Then it reduced to the weekend, and now it does it just on Sundays. And I'm right now. I haven't even finished this book, although I'm getting close. I don't read for very long because mainly because my eye. I got to get my eyes worked on, I guess. But I love listening to jazz while I'm reading. What's this? I got to find the rest of your comment. Thank you, PS71. Your lucky day. Yeah, I'll get up really early tomorrow morning, walk my dog to his penitentiary, which will take 2 hours probably. Then I'll hop the flight to Houston Hobby, middle seat the whole way. To change, I change either in Detroit or in Atlanta. I can't remember. I think Atlanta, but I middle seat. I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, it'll be nice to go to Houston. I think Texas is a great state. Everybody's friendly, and they put up with Yankees like me. Yeah, it's beautiful here too. Little nippy, but just gorgeous sun. So the spring is coming. Watch out for the gypsies. The gypsies in Berlin were the worst I ever experienced. Well, Rome and Berlin, but Berlin was tough. Little gypsy girls. They stole my computer and my phone. Charlie M., I'm going to be near the Grove. I haven't booked a hotel because I'll just do it last minute, and hopefully it'll be near there. But let me look what the Grove in Houston. It is corner of Discovery Green Conservancy. Oh, it's near the Galleria. Well, it's not really near the Galleria. On the map, it's close. I used to stay at the Derrick Hotel, which I think is near the Galleria. And then there's a couple of hotels. There's one where the restaurant in the basement, in the ground floor, is something about fish. So that's all nice. I wonder where the airport is. That's the problem. You guys know because you live there, but it can really change your commute depending on which airport you come in. The Woodlands. I think the Woodlands is where a lot of oil and gas companies are.
And what's new? The new release of
What's
the
new?
local ensemble known as Sage, spelled S-A-J-E. Sage, the Grammy-winning.
I don't know. I can call him. I'll have to go turn off that stereo.
And Sage includes the voice of Sarah.
Oh, Capital Girl is in Dallas.
John A. Kendrick.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised this celebration is in Dallas.
Voice and piano, Jacob Cole, for their Grammy-winning arrangement of "In the Wee Small Hours of the Morning."
I'm going to check that actually.
We heard from
Now that I'm
saxophone master Charles Lloyd, two pieces from Charles' latest recording. It's called "The Sky Will Be There Tomorrow." It's on the Blue Note label.
I know who said that? TK16. I'll see if Ham will come on. He was playing pickleball, and it's Sunday. I don't really want to bother him on a Sunday. Let me see.
Rendition of the ancient hymn of Balm in Gilead. Both pieces again from Charles Lloyd. The brand new recording, "The Sky Will Be There Tomorrow" on What's New, the new release album. Coming up at 4 o'clock, it's Miles Willis with "The Sound of Surprise." Until then, we've got more music for you. In this instance,
I hope it. Yeah, it's Houston. I'm supposed to be in Houston. Good.
From NEA Jazz Master.
It's all good.
Simply titled Kenny Barron, "The Source." And from that, we'll hear Kenny Barron's rendition of Thelonious Monk's piece, "Tale." This is Kenny Barron at piano from his brand new solo recording.
I can get my man spread. I hate it. I hate middle seats. But hey, it's just one fewer person to crawl over if you have to use the loo. Yeah, an hour or less. Yeah. You know, here an hour gets you to Baltimore. I want to say an hour and a half, but it's probably more like 2 hours gets you to Richmond. And yeah. Well, I hope they're not dangerous for a small town boy like me. It just wasn't your cup of tea. I was wishful thinking. I don't mind all the things you do or say, Lord. I gave you my money and my time. Yeah, the 20-1 is a way of fighting the shorts, the 24-1. But I mean, you're making it a negative. It was, in fact, to increase the number of 100 lot shareholders above 300. So that was a benefit of it. But the forward split, I mean, TK16, as Ham sometimes calls them, gimmicks. You don't know if it's going to work, but uh, to my memory, they were short 1.3 million shares. Now they're short, what, 26 million shares. Now you can say, well, on a relative basis, it doesn't change anything. That is as may be. On the other hand, it might make it very difficult for the prime brokers to carry the position. Just find out. So where was this, Raymundo? Is this in China? SFC, Shanghai Financial SFC. 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 I don't know what SFC. Hong Kong. Okay. Well, the I mean, you are correct. They were trying to solve that listing problem, but the listing problem itself was a reason for the shorts to sell the stock. The idea is that, and there's no way to prove this. So you hear it, you believe it. See this collective audience deal? I thought it was great. Be up. Anyway, my read on it could be wrong. Could be wrong. Yeah, I think ZJYL, the pre-split, the pre-20-for-1, that the average short price was around $20 or $25 a share. So they were underwater when it went to 300, when it went to 550. And I think their number goes to like $1 or $1.50 a share, but I'm not positive on that. We had fish last night. All right, so there's not a lot of questions. Let me text Ham and see if he wants to come on. All right, I'm sending it to him. If he comes back, we'll listen to him. If not, I'll end it because I don't want to waste everybody's time. But I did want to come on and say that I'll do better about melting down. I wanted to caution people on CAUD. It's not over. I'm really impressed by Peter Boards, so I don't think it's over. And then I think next week you could, or next couple of weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, hopefully next week we could see something good on Logic. But the two main events are ZJYL and GDC. And I think Finger is coming pretty soon. I don't know if it'll be this week, but I think it'll be fairly soon. When Trump wins, well, he may win. Oh, look at that puppy dog. He may win, but I don't think they're going to let him be president. So, um, yeah, that's true, Mark. That's true. But all right, so he's not coming on. I'll give it 5 minutes, see if he's probably playing pickleball. So after I come off this live, I have to walk my dog, pack my bags, make sure he has treats. I think I already did the laundry. Make sure there's two or three there's two or three paperwork items I got to get done. And then I go to Houston off. See, I like this. This is better. I know it's probably the same kind of music, but this one's better. I go tomorrow, come back Tuesday. But if I get an audience with HNRC or with or with trying to think. There's one other group. Anyway, if I get an audience with one other oil company, I might stay until Wednesday. But it's a quick trip, hit and run. AQST. All right, let's look that one up. AQST. AQST. Aquestive Therapeutics. It sounds like a digestive. Let's see what it says at Yahoo. Apparently, it outperforms the broader market. AQST. AQST. The 52-week, 72 cents to 4.39, and it's closer to its highs, which, believe it or not, I like better than when it's down at its lows. It's just one input, but it's not a bad input. 66 million shares out, float 59 million. Institutions own 35%. They have cash, 25 million. That's good. And let's see, who owns them. Bratton Capital. I think that's a good one. Armistice, Vanguard, Renaissance. I'm a little leery of Renaissance, but maybe I'm wrong. Essex Investment, Acadian, Geode, BlackRock, Bracebridge. The mutual funds, Vanguard, Fidelity, Bridgeway, iShares, Fidelity, Vanguard, Fidelity. Yeah, it could be good. It could be a good one. Hey, Jack. Well, thank you for commenting. But obviously, Ham is the key to all this, and other people, all the work they do. Um, I I don't want to say I have a love-hate relationship. That's too strong, but I do give indications from time to time, like, oh, I'm gonna quit. But then I see the hope of how maybe it does help. I don't know. We just I want to accomplish something. I want to make things happen rather than spinning our wheels and moving forward. And I think one thing might be, and that's one of the reasons I'm going to go to Houston, is I think it's time to start looking at commodities and start investing in commodities and companies. And in the back of my head, I share it with you as if you guys are all my friend. I know you're not all my friend, but back of my head, I'm thinking it's time to start a company. But we'll see. The stupid uh, shorts just never let us have a win. Yeah, the one I think I was reading. I forget where I was reading it. Maybe the Hill. Maybe it was the Hill, but um, or maybe it was one of the mainstream media outlets. But they were just saying that Trump it was the mayor of Richmond didn't want Trump speaking there, and that he's racist and that he has a problem with voters who happen to be black or African American. And that might be true. I don't know if it's true, but that's why I think it would be brilliant if he chose Byron Donalds as his running mate, because I think Trump could increase the African American vote for him, particularly on the male side, more than he could increase the female vote for him if he appointed Tulsi Gabbard, although I like Tulsi Gabbard a lot too. Anyway, it's an interesting choice he has to make. Um, I think Byron Donalds would be a better choice than Tim Scott, but he'll probably pick Tim Scott, I guess. But anyway, we'll see. And thank you again, Jack. Earnings on March 5th. You know what's coming next weekend? Next week is Indian Wells, and Djokovic is back in action. Number one in the world for 414 weeks, I think. Two years ahead of Federer. Yeah, 414 weeks.
Harold Lopez Newsom. Harold Lopez Newsom from his brand new recording called.
And that's it, Mark. And I'm sure it happens with you, but it's just boring, and it causes frustration. So, a plan of attack, a plan of making things change. What I notice in a lot of these stocks, as much as I may
Stay tuned. Miles Willis is in the house with the sound of surprise. I'm Willie Jenkins.
someone's on the way to see me.
And until next time.
Oh, it's an old message. I see. It's an old message. Until
next time, we bid you peace.
I forgot where I was, but on a lot of these stocks, like CRTD or maybe this new one, you can you can explain it, you can say what you see, but where they get you, can you prove that? And there isn't any more proof than if I went to Dulles Airport, went up to the head of customs and asked him how much cocaine uh, Escobar brought into the United States illegally last year. They wouldn't know. By definition, the illegal activity is illegal. Yeah. Volume in which one, Matthew? Mr. Matthews. I had a econ professor called Mr. Matthews. He was a big guy. He was sardonic, and he would call himself Mr. Matthews. Uh, Catchy. We could be in an elevator. At 4 o'clock, Frank Sinatra comes on, and it's 4 o'clock. Well, I think he has common sense, and I like what you say, because the reason you choose him. I mean, obviously, the way I described it, one of his characteristics which would help Trump is he's African American, but that wasn't the first reason that I liked him. When I went in to see Gary Gensler speak, Byron Donalds was, I think he was the last questioner, but he might have been like third from last. He was in the last row. And man, he was good. He asked great questions. He got to the point, and he did not mind making Gary Gensler uncomfortable. He was polite, but he went for it, and I really, that's why I liked him. And he's young. So I like that he's a fighter. He seems incorruptible, and he's young, and uh, you know, yeah. This channel comes on from 4 to 6 or 4 to 5, and it plays Frank Sinatra and others. Whoever died that week. There's always some musician that has died. Crypto might be a squeeze, but um, it also might be that some of these stocks move and will come to crypto, come to physical metals. You know, we just haven't had, everything is down, 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 down. And, you know, and then the guys who join in and make fun and all that, I don't much respect them. All right, so I can read fantasy baseball profiles to you, or we can sign off. Yeah, he didn't write that. It was that crooner who's old now. He used to sing young girls songs. God, I can't think of his name, but you know who it is. Yeah, I think this down is an opportunity. I agree with you. Um, we'll see. All right. I guess he's not going to. Well, let's just give it one more minute. Doesn't look like he's going to call in. And thanks for joining. That's all I wanted to do was a short video, mainly to say I think there's 2 or 3 things possible next week, and certainly over the next 2 or 3 weeks. Specifically, I think next week could be ZJYL and GDC, but it could take longer. I think next week, following week, third week, fourth week could be LGIQ. And I think next week, following week, third week, fourth week could be Finger. And I think it's the oncoming train. Um, I actually, Ramon, think that the markets are going to collapse and retail are going to leave the markets, and it's gonna bring in uh, great calls for re-regulation and all that. Retail retail is in the market. You all, me too, are in the market in mutual funds, retirement plans, ETFs. They've convinced all of us to leave our money in long term, and that's how they can play the way they do. But the way I take your question is for guys like us who trade on our own, with our own, under our own power. I don't think it's more than 10% of the market right now, and it could get a lot worse. The money is made with the big pools of money, the big hedge funds, the agglomerators of money, if that's a word, and cheating. I know Lucky needs a hug. He does. Lucky needs a hug. He's right here. He and I had a good long walk. Oh, Ham can come on. All right. You waited? You got it. All right, let's see. Ham can come on.
Battery 40%. Connected to Phil's iPhone.
Hello.
Hey, Ham, you're live. You got about 125 here, and you get started. I'm gonna go turn the music down. That was annoyingly on when I went
You
live.
sure you want me to get started, William?
Yes, you get started because
Hold on a second. I'm only kidding. I'm not in the bathroom. I walked to the bathroom. I needed a joke.
wash your hands afterward.
I didn't go to the bathroom. I was just shutting the lights off. Everyone leaves the lights on in my house. It drives me crazy.
All right, so I think
that
people are interested in those two stocks and Finger and everything.
What stocks do you want me to talk about?
ZJYL, GDC.
All right. So again, my friend who owns 1 million GDC and 500,000 ZJYL. He believes that Showtime is coming up. That's I don't know what Showtime means, but he believes that they're gonna explode shortly. So that's the extent of what I know about those companies. I don't know nothing about them. I'm only following someone who's very wealthy, who has a very good track record of making money. So it's like following Goldman Sachs. If you follow Goldman Sachs all these years, or you can follow Nancy Pelosi, she does pretty well trading herself. And that's what Wall Street's about, because I can guarantee you, if there's 100 people on this call, 99 of you don't really have access to other people's trades to see what they're doing. When I worked on a trading desk, we kind of knew what all the top players were doing because we spoke with them. And when you speak with them, they tell you, hey, what about this? And you kind of pick and choose which one you have the money to play. But that's how you find out about different names. All right, so ZJYL, I update as fast as I hear something. I update everyone. I don't neglect it. Just sometimes there's nothing to say. They've just been drifting, and that's what happens. I reported on Kodak 2 years ago. With William, maybe a year ago. When we went to DC and we went to Elise Stefanak's office, and I tried to pitch her on, because Kodak is from the city of Rochester. It's basically the biggest company there. And it used to be a Dow component. And the company was being naked shorted. And I tried to tell them, if you get Kodak to settle the trades there, the stock would go up. People that own Kodak in their retirement accounts from 100 years ago probably could make money, pay off their bills, with the whole thing starts to ramp up. And, they never did anything about it. And, I've been tracking it for a long time. I have friends that own it. And it's taken a year, and all of a sudden the thing's starting to pop again. And it has 1.5 billion shares short. It has money in the bank, $200 million. It has not a big float. I think it's 60 million. I'm not sure the number. I can't remember what it was. And, that could be something that could be interesting to trade. The last time it squeezed, it went to $61.
Eastman Kodak?
Remember we went to the Rochester representative?
Yeah, Stefanik, isn't it?
We went there, we tried, William. We tried 3 times.
Yeah.
But again, that could save the city of Rochester. Rochester is Kodak. I mean, it's always been Kodak. Everybody knows that.
Janet Yellen is in Chile talking about mining. That's interesting.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I passed that. There was a Bloomberg story this morning about that. I passed it to the guys. I met the people from Trento Mines. They're actually trying to do a deal with GTII. I don't have access to where they stand, but these guys are really good guys. And
yeah, they are good guys. They are good guys.
And I told them, anything you need I could do to help you, please get in touch. If I hope things work out. But they seem to have their the house in order, and they want to move forward. So if they can come to terms with a deal with GTII, let's see what happens.
Do you know JL stock? JL.
I can't remember the name. I know that stock. I can't remember
Yeah,
what it
it
is.
sounds familiar. Let me look it up. JL stock. JL hits a new low. J Long Group. I don't know it.
No, I do not know it. It's so funny, people, that you come up with new names all the time. It's remarkable, right? All these stocks.
Yeah.
Now go out and find one that you think is going to squeeze. Good luck with that. All right. So again, sometimes you just have to position yourself. It may take a day. It may take, position yourself. I was talking about TELO, Tom, Eddie, Larry, Oscar. It was a new IPO. My friend knew the guy who bought the whole float, the whole deal. And the shorts attacked it from 7, which is the IPO price, down to 4.5. And I thought it would be a good idea if you bought some on the dip. My friends did, and it ripped to 20 something on the short squeeze. It was 5 days public, and it went from 7 to 20 something dollars. So my friends sold it and bought it all back, and they're buying it below 9. And now the quiet period ends this week, and we expect to see some news coming out of the company about what exactly they're doing. It's a new IPO. So there's a quiet period where they couldn't speak, and that period is over now. So we'll get to see what they have up their sleeve now. And these are the type of things you just keep bumping along. And, I'm not in TELO for a 100-year war. Again, that just got naked shorted. But again, you follow it. If you can help someone understand it and see the benefits of it. The IPO price was 7. The company hasn't even said what they do yet, tell the shareholders. And so it's worth a shot to take it from where, I thought it was. It's below, it's like $9, I think now. And you can see they're trying to hold it below 9. I don't understand why. Let it go up first, and then you can short it. But these guys, the new short in the world is very different than the old world, William.
Yep, it is.
Short sellers, and I did a lot of short selling for real big players. They took their time, and they wanted this stock to go higher. I was paid more commission if I sold 1 million shares of a stock at $60 versus selling 1 million shares at $58, because remember, they make $2 more on it. I would get paid more commission because I got them a higher price on my short sales. Because when you sell it higher, when it drops, you make more money on the spread. Today's world is they short, distort, attack. If they shorted at $10, they want it at $6 by the afternoon. And if they don't, they roll out Capybara, Andrew Left, Chanos, whoever it may be, and they start bashing the name with fake stories. That's very different than it used to be, William. I can't believe that they want instant gratification and they destroy people. The companies. No one knows what's going on when your stock gets destroyed in 2 minutes. You have no idea what happened. You think that everyone in the building just jumped out of the window? You don't know. The FBI raided the company. You have no idea. When things settle down, though, half the shareholders. One of the most important things when I speak with companies is to make sure that they keep in touch and educate their shareholders, because that's your sales force. If I buy the stock and the CEO is telling the right story and everything looks great, what do? I tell my friends, hey, take a look at this stock, take a look at that stock. But they destroy it so fast, these CEOs don't have no idea what's going on. I told you I spoke with the CEO of RUM. He had no idea he was being attacked with fake report. He didn't even know what to do. He just kept saying, oh, we'll win out. Well, that's what everybody says. Oh, we have enough, we can win out. Well, he was lucky the stock squeezed back up from 3.5 to 7, but let's see what happens now. But still, how many shareholders dumped it? When you sell a stock, I know most people do, I don't. Most people don't revisit a name if they lost money in it. So if you lost money in Apple, I used to always tell people, are you never going to play it again? That's a stupid mentality. You can't win all the time in every name you're in. So you jump around, you find names. When you get bit by one and you lose, you can go back. Yeah, I played IBM. I hated trading IBM, but I tried it 30 times. Didn't say it never went back. And at the end, I wound up making money with IBM. I mean, that's just the way it goes. So you can't be afraid. If you lose, maybe reevaluate. Maybe you pay too high. Hey, listen, look at like Tesla. People paid, $2.25 for it, and it's below 200 now. They bought in $25 too high. And I always tell you to make yourself feel comfortable about your investment is you buy 25%, 20% of your position to start. At least you're in. If it makes a move and it starts to sell off, you can actually average in and get a better price. Most of us do the same thing, think you're going to buy a stock at 200 and it's going to go 200 and go straight to the moon. It just doesn't happen like that. You got the market selling off, if Bitcoin sells off, the market sells.
Call from Peter Milhado.
There's so many different factors in the market today that it's very difficult to know when a sell-off is going to come. And that affects everybody's stocks, except the small caps. Stocks, they just keep getting sold. A gentleman put up the divergence between the big caps, the Magnificent Seven, and all the small caps. The small caps are in a bear market. And meanwhile, the 7 big names just keep going up every day.
Call from
Google, Facebook, or whatever the names are, or NVIDIA, most probabilities that your stocks will roll down. But I do think, and everybody, we all hate the SEC, but I do think they're squeezing the shorts. They're forcing some issues. I don't know when they get around to what we own, but for Kodak to pop up after a year and a half of doing nothing, all of a sudden now is like being talked about in many different circles. Why did that squeeze all of a sudden? They didn't come out with the cure for cancer. So why did that pop up? And I see it in other names. I can't remember. There was a stock, what was that stock that ran to 100 the other day? HOLO, I think it was. William, it went from 2 to 100.
Elo, yeah.
Yeah, whatever it is. But I'm just saying that there's many stocks that are doing that. Again, it's like a needle in a haystack. So I'm a firm believer in when you find a stock, or if we talk about a stock, do some homework on it. Maybe you can give us some input we don't know about. We all want to listen to you. You have an idea, share it. You're not going to get We're not going to hang you. We decide. Anyone on this phone, if you ever buy a stock, that's on you. You hit the buy button. We don't go in your phone and hit your button. We're not representatives of anybody. So if you tell us the name and you hear something good about it, tell us. We want to hear about it. One of the gentlemen's been telling me about Northwest Bio and how well it's doing with its brain cancer treatment, and yet it doesn't get any respect in the stock market. It's a 58-cent stock and people are living longer. And how does it turn? When does it turn? I don't know. It's a $500 billion market. People with brain cancer and, people with the cancers. I guess it helps all types of cancers. I'm just saying, but why would you not take a shot on it, right? I don't know. But the stock's been acting poorly for years. Friends of mine lost millions of dollars in this name. But if you catch it right and they save the right person dying of brain cancer, the stock will go from 50 cents to $50 in an hour. So again, you don't know, but follow up on these things. Follow them yourself. I can't follow them all. And this way you educate yourself on these things. Okay, William, what else did you want me to talk about?
One guy asked, do you think there's light at the end of the tunnel for retail in the markets? And
yes, I do.
I said it was an oncoming train.
I think that what I see on Twitter is that, we started this thing, William started teaching everybody about the stock and everything about naked shorts. And I jumped on his train and everybody else has jumped on and everyone's educating themselves about it. I just see so much positive. The U.S. government's got to be hiding in shame from what's going on in China and South Korea and India. Every day they're making noise, abusing the international hedge funds that are trying to rob and kill their countries, their equity markets. So they had enough of it. And U.S. equity markets, how much more can you hide in shame over this stuff? I mean, Williams put the truck in front of the SEC 13 times. How much more does William have to do?
Okay, I
I'm
don't
throwing it
know.
all on you, William.
I don't know how much I have to do.
You're breaking up.
I'm breaking up?
It's not me. I'm not even moving an inch.
All right. Well, maybe I'm breaking up. I don't know how
I'm
much
just saying,
more I need to do.
I'm trying to give you all the credit, William, for what you've done. You
I
helped us
don't.
all out.
It's you. It's not me.
No, it's not me. So again, Finger Motion is a stock that I've been following a long time. It used to be a gaming company. It changed from a gaming company. That's how long I went to see it in China as a gaming company, but I had no interest in it because I don't play games on my phone. But then they changed direction and they became a telecom that is backed by the Chinese government. And that's when I started following it because I thought that was interesting. The market was way bigger. It's everybody in China versus people who just play with their cell phones and games. So that's when I started following. That was back in 2018. So I've been following the company for a long time. My first purchase was $2.87. When the company just started, the stock is now $2.50. So after 4 years of following a company, I'm actually only down 30 cents. And the company's 100 times better. It's going to be in the black soon, and I'm down 30 cents. That's all because of Lynn Partners, nothing else. I do believe, in my opinion, that this is a $100 stock without any short squeeze. With a short squeeze, who knows where it's going to go? Hundreds of dollars, thousands. I do believe it's 210 million shares short. I've been counting it since day one. Not 2 weeks ago, not a year ago, from day one. And it's 200 million shares plus 210 plus the real short of 1.8. So you're talking 212. And as everyone knows, they don't buy anything back until they fold. And that's what you're starting to see stocks that when they fold, the volume comes in and it really starts to explode. That's when you know they're covering. They haven't done it yet. So like William always tells me, he likes to buy it. And like I like to say, we like to buy it when no one wants it, when they're quiet. Don't get me wrong. I want to come in tomorrow, see the stock up 50, make a trade, go have a party. We all want to do that and say we had a winner. It doesn't happen like that. So I'm here for the big shebang, as we say. I'm here for the gusto. And I think the company's fundamentals. William interviewed the CEO. I think it's a great interview. You can watch. He tells you about upcoming deals. The company announced they approved the dividend, a special dividend. Remember, the dividends create the biggest headaches for the short sellers and the brokerage firms. That's what MMTLP is. Oh, I can't say that name. I'm sorry. That M stock is that. That's what that's all about. That M stock. It's a dividend. I don't want to talk about that name anymore. Everybody gets crazy. I can't talk about it. So I'll never talk about it again. Although I did meet a gentleman the other day, and his wife worked for FINRA, and I told him about a special stock, but I won't say the symbol because I don't want to get anybody upset. Anyway, she was an attorney, and I asked him to go look into it about a certain stock. I won't say it again. I won't tell you the name because I don't want all those people crying. Oh, my God. They said our name. Don't help us out. Yeah, okay.
Oh.
Good. Anything else? GTII, we're waiting for the company to actually do something to drive business, or the SEC, FINRA, the FBI, Secret Service, DOJ, someone to arrest somebody. All right. You saw the other day they got that guy Aldar, whatever the hell he is. I forgot that guy's name. Another toxic lender busted by the SEC. They need to start turning these toxic lenders to go from an unregistered toxic lender to a criminal with the DOJ, because they just naked shorting against they're just robbing people. And I posted about Lynn Partners, everyone. I posted Lynn Partners has a new victim, KNW, I think it is.
Oh, yeah.
Symbol was.
I forgot that one. K. Yeah. But I thought there was another one, IV or something.
No, KNW just signed a note, and they put out a lovely press release that they're getting $12 million from Lynn Partners. Lynn Partners only gave them $4 million up front, the tranches, William. They only gave them $4 million, and they minus fees, I think the company winds up with like 3.6 million. And Lynn has to short the stock to get back their money.
Right.
Right. That's how they do it. So that just started that little scam. But I looked at Lynn Partners' last transaction was ID, a company called ID. They funded them in July of last year, $10 million, I think it was. It was $10 million. And in 6 months, the company was delisted from the exchange. In 6 months.
How much did they borrow? 10 million?
10 million. So Lynn took a beating of $10 million. How are they surviving? Warren Buffett couldn't survive giving out 10 million and losing all the money all the time, right? So obviously they're doing something to recoup their money, right? Because Lynn Partners, based on their big investor in Australia, says he's up 220%. Right. Meanwhile, all these poor companies are down 100%, 200%. Everyone's getting wiped out. So they're just taking your money and giving it to their friends. They actually are the worst at picking companies to invest in. I would say that they were good at it. They are awful, because all the companies they invest in go straight down. And if no one's paying them back, how could the company pay you back if their stock price is collapsing, right? That means they have to cut down, fire people, cut corners, and basically unwind their business, because they have to make sure they pay back these debts. They can't pay them back. So they never get the money back, but yet Lynn has returns that are just like unbelievable. So what are they doing? The only thing I can see them doing is they're naked shorting the stock, and that's how they're making their money back. And that proof is right there. I documented the whole thing. I put it up. I can keep going on day in, day out, but it's just, I believe the SEC knows all these characters. I expect the Kramers, Lynn Partners, Yorkville, all these characters to get busted shortly by the SEC. And you got to remember Alpine. We got the proof from Alpine and GTII. People, if you're following us for a while, you have to be getting sick of hearing about this nonsense every day. I am, because I'm just watching criminals do whatever they want and no one stops them.
Have you heard of this scandal? Bring down the wire card. Apparently, it's on Netflix and it speaks about short selling and money laundering through LLCs. Scandals
Oh, I've heard.
bringing down the wire card.
I heard a long time ago, William, that the drug cartels were naked shorting. A long time ago, I heard that they were giving money to guys. They were naked shorting it, okay, and their money was being cleared through the banks and the brokers as profitable trades on Wall Street. Because no one's going to run the cartel's money with a chance that you're going to lose it, right? Would you want to do that, William?
Mm-mm.
So no one
I
wants
wouldn't
to run
want to
that.
end up on a hook on a
Right.
bridge
So no
somewhere.
one is taking cartel's money and actually playing the equity markets for the chance that you can lose. Hey,
Right.
you just lost $500 million of my money.
Right.
Whoops. See you later. That'll be the end of you.
Right.
So what I heard was that they were doing naked short selling, and they were doing it for the cartels. I heard that a long time ago.
Yeah. That's it. I don't have
You
any
have all
more
the questions.
questions.
Everybody's okay?
I think so. There's been no you have 173 people now, so you're the man. But
No, I'm not the
there's
man.
been no bump
Let's
up.
knock them out. Let's listen. The one thing I will teach you about Wall Street, okay? On Friday night when you go home and hopefully you made some money for the week, you need to get right back into the saddle and start doing work on different stocks that you want to start to follow and prices that you think you could buy in. You have to do homework. Since Friday, I always get prepared for Monday. You have to be ready for Monday. This is not just come home on Sunday night. So I'm going to get ready for Monday. You need to do a lot of work. I'm not saying you need to just figure out what you want to look at. Some stocks may just go up. You may miss the chance to get them at the price you wanted. Okay. But that's how the game is played. So you got to be ready. And if you see a stock jump to a price that you've been looking at, you want to grab it, that's when you grab these things. So you got to pay attention. But you have to do your homework. It's not just, they just don't give you money on Wall Street. I know most of us think you do, but it doesn't work like that. And surround yourself with people that do that. Talk to your friends. What stocks do you hear? What are they playing? Do they hear anything? Blah, 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 blah. You got to build your own network up. Figure it out. Don't sit in the dark by yourself. Listen to people, what they have to say. Get their opinions. I worked on a trading desk with 30 people. Everyone had different stocks. Next to me was a desk of the over-the-counter people, 30 people. On the other side was 12 people on the option desk. How many different stocks I heard a day? Everyone was doing execution for different clients. Oh, my guy's good. He's got this. I got that. I got this. And that's how you learn the names. Unless you want to be the one person that trades Apple every day, then that's a different story. That's how fast Wall Street is. And you can make money in the fast lane, but most people here don't have access to that. So I would tell you to be smart. When you go to buy a stock, pick a limits. Don't be afraid to let it go. And if you go to buy a stock at like $8 and all of a sudden it's $8.50, going to $8.60, don't chase it. Wait for your level. If you miss it, you miss it. That's just the way it goes. Trust me. You're going to miss many stocks in your life and they're going to go crazy, but there's going to be many chances that you don't chase them and you pay $8.60 for them and they drop back down to $7.
Right.
All right. So you take the good with the bad and don't beat yourself up when you make mistakes.
One guy pointed out that you've been teaching how traders think, the psychology of traders. And I think that's true. You have been showing people how to trade.
Listen, I watched a guy he's one of the best on the street. Okay. If I told you what he did, you guys would faint. I used to go to his office and he used to trade index options. And the guy used to take all kinds of drugs, buy 1,000 calls or puts, whatever he thought, pass out at his desk, and then wake up and then hopefully went his way. I mean, he's saying, so there's a lot of maniacs on Wall Street. So you got, I used to sit with my mouth open and say, is this guy going to wake up? I couldn't believe it.
We had a guy in our office who would call down. We used squawk boxes back then, and he'd call down. He'd buy 100 calls or 500 calls, put it through the trade, and then he'd put on his expensive coat and leave the office for an appointment. And when Tom would call back from the trading desk, Alex in Washington, Alex, you're filled on 500X on, whatever at 5.25. And then he'd call back, which account do you want to call back? And Alex would come in after the market closed. If the stock were up, he put it in his account. If it wasn't,
that's called cherry picking. That's not. I'm not.
He got in trouble later on. But luckily his dad was a big producer and started his own firm. He just went to work for his dad.
That's called cherry picking, where he's trying to take a winner, put it in his account.
It's illegal.
Most firms, yeah, you had to clock a ticket, give them the account, who you're doing it for immediately. I've never seen that happen. I very rarely. I don't think I've ever seen anybody get in trouble for that. So I never saw anybody doing it. But I'm sure it goes on. You just heard William. There you go. His idea was to make believe he was going someplace. That was a good one. But I'm just telling you, I've seen people do crazy things on Wall Street, take all kinds of drugs, pass out, and these guys were, I guess they were smart enough. They knew whatever the market was going up or down, and made their bets and just, checked out for a couple hours, I guess. I don't know. I used to sit there like you do on the end of my chair, hitting every quote. Is it going? Is it going? Is it going? But today's market's very different with the algorithms in here and this trading. You can't tell. I was taught by people that used to read the tape. So if you see a stock like, let's say Bank America is trading at 7, 7, 7 and 8, 720, 725, 7, and it keeps going across the tape, the ticket tape. You can see the accumulation and what's going on. Now this stock's trade 100 million shares in the same range. I mean, you can't figure that out. I don't even know what's going on. No one knows what's going on. So you can totally see algorithms that are trading in between of it. Are the criminals tiptoeing around the algorithms? I think so. I don't think the algorithms are in finger motion as much as or GTI. I think they're in these other crazy names that you see every day that are trading all kinds of crazy volume. But until I see it, I can't say that they're not there. I have to wait and see what they're doing. Finger motion the manipulation is for pennies all day long. It's just unbearable to watch. And I can't believe that's an algorithm doing that. That's got to be some wizard trying to figure out how to get people to sell the stock. It's not an algorithm. They're going back and forth on 200 shares all day long. I can't believe that's an algorithm. Nothing else, William?
No, I'm somebody's pointing out that Root had a really high run up, but it's from a low base.
Yeah, so Root was $30. It went to $1, below $1. They were going to be delisted. They reversed the stock 25 to 1. It went back up to $25. From $25, it went back down to $4 or $5 where it's been sitting. This company was a new IPO. My friend, I told you, put $5 million in at the IPO price. It was getting destroyed. The stock recently came out. You can remember, this was an IPO 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
The company just starting out. So it takes 2 years for companies to actually start grinding and making money and turning things around. I think what the bad guys do, they take advantage of these IPOs. Okay. Some of them just take off like Facebook or whatever it may be. They loved it. When you're a golden child, they okay. But these other companies that go public, they took advantage of a company of a startup and beat the shit out of it. destroyed it. Now the company, which is, everyone's lost, 80% of their money already. The company's quarter, their revenue was I think it's showing that it's growing. Their revenue spiked up, and they lost only $7 million the last quarter. They lost only 7, and the revenue is starting to pick up. So their business is starting to pick up. The stock went from $7 to $42 in 7 days. Not that they weren't profitable, that they lost less and their revenue is picking up. I believe we're going to see in finger motion, and I put that up as a perfect example, and I believe it's a perfect example. I think finger motion is going to go into the black, and their revenue is going to start to pop up big, and it's going to have the same type of legs when it goes. Because the shorts are trapped here. This company is going to be profitable. They don't need money. I told you my friends funded the company. All right. We helped them raise $15 million. All right. So we know they have money. They don't need any more money. And they're going to be profitable. Who is going to keep trying to short it? Benchmark gave it a $5 target before all this stuff came out. So it's $5 by Benchmark and their financial analyst, okay, who went through everything about the company. And yet someone's willing to hold it down to 250. That's somebody who's in trouble. I'll go anywhere, anytime with anybody. I've been studying these stocks for a long time. That's somebody who's trapped, and it sucks to watch it. But they're going to fold, and it's going to be a fold like Root, and it's just going to scream. Now, I think it's going to be much higher than Root, but that's the same thing. It's a couple of days, you're going to see the thing just keep going. That's what's going to happen. They've been fighting it for a long time. They thought that we're a bunch of stooges and we're going to walk away, never thinking that we're going to stay here and fight. I've been fighting for 4 years here. They must think that I'm totally insane. If you think I'm crazy, imagine what the shorts think. This guy's still here. He doesn't even bow down because I told you before, they're not stealing from my family. I'm not letting it happen. So I'm staying to the end. And we told everyone, we burned the boat, so we can't go back. We have nowhere to go. Anything else, William?
No, there's nothing else. Tilo that they asked about.
The quiet period ends this week, so we'll get to see what they're going to happen here. I can tell you what I heard.
Okay.
I heard that they're in talks with Amgen. I don't know what comes out of it. I heard that all the trials are being done at Johns Hopkins. And I think that they're going to use it it helps regenerate your stem cells. And I think they're going to use it on animals first. And I think it's a $10 billion market just on the animals. It can help your dogs and your cats live longer use the medication. And it's only a 2-month turnaround because they're smaller. And I believe that that's where they're going to try to go first. That's what I heard. So I'm looking at it saying, okay, any company that could help regenerate your stem cells and help get you healthy, it's got to be worth a shot, right?
Right.
Who would want to kill a company like that? And I heard the short sellers are coming through Canada, so that's, there's people monitoring what's going on there, which is good.
Well, that could be fun. I don't own that one, but
No, I'm just
I'm
saying
not
that you can't own them
Rockefeller.
all. If I wasn't in GDC, I would have bought more of that. If I wasn't in that, I do this. But that's the way it goes. You can't do them. You can't play them all. So, if you want to play, if you want to buy 1,000 shares, you buy 100 shares of a couple of them. At least start to learn and figure out how you're going to make your own trading philosophy.
Call from Peter Melhado.
And the one thing we all do wrong, and everybody on this phone is going to do it. We all do it. I do it. When you get
Call from Peter Melhado.
you got to let them run a little bit. If you buy a stock at 6 and it runs down, and there's a big short in it, you sell 30% of it. Get your money off the table, because sometimes the next day they go from 10 to 50. And that's what my biggest concern is I've been in Finger for so long that if it runs, I'm going to panic out and say, hey, you know what? I bought it at 4 and it's, 24. Let me move on and I'll be thrilled. But you know what? I know it's going way higher than that. So I got to be careful. Don't panic out. Sell a little bit. Once you keep making money selling a little all the time, that nervousness of you're not making money goes off the table because you are making money. You could buy the dip, sell the rip. Means that when they sell it off like they're doing now, you buy it. If you want to flip it, if it goes back to 3, 4, you can always sell some and then you own it for free. Or you could buy the stock at 2.5. When it runs back to 3, sell it. You make 50 cents and then keep options at 15 cents and you made 35 cents in your profit in your pocket and you're still long. So there's many ways to skin a cat here. So, learn. If you have any questions, always ask and we'll teach you how to do it. That's all.
All right. So, T low hits a new low. All right. Nope. That's all the questions.
All right. So we got another week. I think things are starting to come to a head. Finger motion. Remember, we're looking for the special dividend update. Watch the CEO's video with William. He does talk about.
I like Vinman's idea. Let's just announce we're selling GTI, ZJYL, Finger, etc. on Tuesday and Wednesday. We don't have to, but let's just talk about it and then let's see what happens to the prices.
Listen, if you think there's a group of people that are chasing us around, you're mistaken. This is not. Listen, there's no way that anyone's sitting every time we talk about a stock. I'm talking about Kodak. When they're going to knock that down? Not saying that anyone. I have about 10 friends that own Kodak. They own it from 7 down. What's the big thing? What's the big deal?
I tend to agree with you, although I think there are petty shorts out there that on the margin try to.
Well, no, listen. You got to remember the small time crooks, which is a very funny Woody Allen movie. If anybody wants to see it, it's very good. Small time crooks. These are the guys that post on Twitter that sell 5,000 shares and try to knock it down and make a quarter. If they knock it down, they make $12.50. All right, so that's pretty good day's pay. You can do that every day. Anyone that's posting on Twitter and bashing a stock is either getting paid to do so or is a short seller. And a real short seller with real money is not sitting here doing this. You may get a few of them, but for the most part, these are small-time crooks. They can't make a living unless they use this technique.
Right.
Short and distort. They can't make a living. Right. It's very difficult to trade. I know I can trade every day of the week. I can do it, and I can make money. But I chose not to sit here as I got older and look at my computer all day. I don't want to do it. So I made a few bets, and I think I'm going to win. I'll sit here for the duration. Instead of making $1, $1.50, $1, I want these things to run. I want to make $200, $300.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do. So I'm giving up the short term, volatility swings, whatever it may be. I'm here for the home run swing. You have to determine what you want to do. I've had people that bought GTII in finger motion. GTI went from 60 cents to 9, and same thing in finger motion, $1 to 10. And I talk to them all the time, and they're gone. Their fight on naked short selling is ended. They moved on with their life, and they made money. They thanked me, and I said, good luck. And you know what? I'll say 8 out of 10 people that have done that and moved on come back because guess what? They lost all their money somewhere else. And that's, I got it. That's what Wall Street does.
Do you want, you don't have to, but one guy persistently is asking me about JAG Media Holdings. You don't have to answer if you don't want to, but
what does he want to know about it?
He wants to know, are you familiar with it?
Yes, I am.
Okay, you answered. Anyway, there aren't any other questions really.
That was a financial newspaper back in the day. It was the hottest thing, hottest product on the street. It covered all upgrades, downgrades on financial news. That's what it was.
Yeah.
It was before the street.com. It was a trader's cheat sheet. Everybody on the street used it. The highest level.
But it wasn't collusion.
What do you mean collusion?
Everybody trading the same way isn't collusion, I guess.
But if you got it, listen, if you have every brokerage firm's upgrades and downgrades, I'll tell you example how it worked.
Yeah.
If Goldman Sachs was downgrading, let's say IBM, and the
Right.
market and good news came out on Merck, and Merck was carrying the market up, and there was a buy program, and the market opened up $100 higher.
Right.
A lot of times, IBM would open up unchanged because they got caught in a buy program. So you would look at that sheet and say, well, everyone just downgraded IBM. If you would just sell it short into that market run up, by the end of the day, IBM would be down 2 points. It was unchanged on the opening. And you could sell it short because you got that market surge up.
Right.
But everyone downgraded the stock. All the institutions started to sell it throughout the day, and the stock would eventually turn down.
Right.
That's what those upgrades and downgrades were good for. If the market sold off on the day and everybody upgraded Apple, let's say, and it was down $1 because of the market down $200, when the market firmed up, guess what stock went up first? Apple, because everyone recommended it. And that was the value of that upgrades and downgrade sheet.
All right. So do you know AQST?
No, I do
No,
not.
I don't know it either. So, all right.
It's a horrible, I know one thing, it's a horrible symbol. I can tell you that.
Axist. Yeah, it's not awesome. All right. Well, why don't we call it here? I'm going to take
Have
a
a good
round
trip to
trip
Houston.
flight to Houston tomorrow and meet all these big wigs, and I'll be back, So
Have a great trip, and we'll speak tomorrow.
all right. Thanks
If
a lot.
anything happens, William, I'll throw it up. I'll do a conference call on the number if anything happens.
All right. Cool.
I don't subscribe to YouTube. I don't do that stuff. So,
All right.
but if I see anything good, I'll post it on Twitter. And if I, just look for me on Twitter, and I'll be glad to answer your questions.
All right. Thank you.
Have a good
All right.
flight.
Thanks, Ham. Bye. All right.
Call ended.
Okay, so I just got a bunch of feedback on collective audience, and it looks like everybody's working together, everybody's on the same team and supporting the mission. So my interpretation of the risk of what's going on is clearly wrong. So I'll just leave it at that. And we'll say peace to everybody. And thanks for signing in. Super Tuesday is on Tuesday, and I'd hoped to meet you by then. Cinco de Mayo is on Tuesday. Hola, my old friend. All right. I'm gonna say catch you later, and enjoy the rest of the night. Say a prayer for Jenny L. Say a prayer for Anna. Say a prayer for each other. Say a prayer that this breaks out before it all goes down, and pray for peace. Yes, I think it'll hit 100. I mean, in a spike, It's like those Chinese fortune cookies you put in bed at the end. In a spike, I think it will hit $100. I hope that doesn't say 100,000. I don't think it'll hit 100,000. All right, so I'm going to sign out. Catch you on the flip side.